Cassidy, Caron, it's so nice to have you here. Métis National President, welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here.
Well, it's really nice to have you join us. So it's almost been a year now since you've been in office. Tell me what you've been up to.
Yeah, it has been one incredible year, one very incredibly busy year. On September 30th of 2021, I was elected into this position, and I thought I understood how much work we had to do when I was going to step into this position, and I certainly was right. There was a lot of work to do. We, day one, hit the ground running in a lot of different areas that we saw need for improvement, rebuilding, bringing together, and so really spending a lot of time in rebuilding the Métis National Council Secretariat. We had so much work to do in development of policies and procedures to make sure that the Métis National Council is a place and an organization that is transparent and accountable. And, you know, all the while rebuilding so many relationships with Métis people across the Métis Nation homeland, within families, communities, provinces, our governing members, but also rebuilding relationships with the federal government, rebuilding relationships with our relations, the Inuit and First Nation, who we work with at the national level as well. And of course, there's been some really historic and monumental events that have taken place in this past year, and things that I never thought I would see in my lifetime. And I'm so grateful for all of the experiences. Most of all, though, grateful for the time that I've had to spend with Métis citizens in communities.
Let's talk about now your thoughts on, the trip to the Vatican, hearing the Pope's apology, being at Musqueam, hearing him apologize on Canadian soil. Now what can we do further to advance reconciliation in this country?
Métis residential school survivors deserve to be heard. Their experiences deserve to be heard. What they need to move forward in their healing paths, they need pathways to express what is it that they need. For many survivors, not all, and it's different for everyone, it was that apology from Pope Francis. And I got to experience those three Métis residential school survivors sit there and listen to the apology by Pope Francis. And for their healing, that's what was needed. And it was an incredibly powerful moment. Then fast forward to this summer when Pope Francis traveled to Canada and delivered an apology on Canadian soil, which fulfilled one of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission calls to action. Again, we see some survivors receive what it is that they needed. And that's what it was about for me. If we could have even just helped one survivor move forward in their journey for healing, that would have been enough, because all of those survivors, they were children, and they deserve dignity, they deserve justice, they deserve all that they need to move forward in their healing journeys. And all of these pieces that have happened over this last year, again, they're steps in our journeys together to move forward, but it doesn't end here. There's a lot more work to be done.
You are literally fresh off the plane from London, England. You attended Her Majesty's funeral this past week. There's been a lot of, feeling about, should the Indigenous people have attended, an event like that with the monarchy and their involvement in residential schools in this country. What would you like to say about that?
Yeah, I absolutely honor and respect everybody's feelings and emotions and opinions around this issue. It's extremely polarizing, and everybody has a right to express how they're feeling about this. I think that the Queen's passing, as in the same sense as all of the events that have happened over this past year, have put us in a time of reflection, of deep reflection on, Canada as a country, Canada's history, the history of these lands and everything that has contributed to where we are today, the struggles that our people continue to face, the colonization that occurred on these lands and continues to occur on these lands. We're reflecting on that. And of course, with that comes a lot of intense emotions, and I honor those emotions. You know, it was a really interesting invitation that I received from the Governor General and the Prime Minister to attend the Queen's funeral, and one that I really did have to reflect on. In my role as the President of the Métis National Council, it's important that we find those opportunities, though, where we can move forward, those doorways that are opening to us now. And that doesn't mean that we should forget the past. We need to absolutely reflect on what has happened and continue to hold accountable the individuals and the institutions that have done wrong and continue to do wrong to Indigenous people and Métis people specifically. And, you know, for me to attend the Queen's funeral, it was an opportunity to go and to, well, first and foremost, bring support for our Governor General, who is an Indigenous woman. To support her when she provided that invitation to me, I wanted to go to support her. But I also wanted to go as a token to show my respect. When we're building relationships, you know, you do need to respect certain protocols. If you're trying to build a relationship with someone and their grandmother passes away, you go to those funerals. And I had that opportunity to, and so I took that opportunity, because I think that we have an opportunity to move forward now, to find out what it means to perhaps modernize our relationship with the monarchy moving forward. You know, we can hopefully get to a point in our history where, you know, we're no longer wards of this state, but we're actually recognized as a nation, nation to nation, government to government relationships. And we need to continue to build those relationships to get there. And so while there was mixed emotions, even for myself, and tricky conversations that had to be had, I'm trying to think about how we move forward. How do we build, again, a brighter, stronger future for the Métis Nation? And I saw that as one of those opportunities to move forward.
Cassidy, Caron, it's my honor to interview you today. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tina.